December 6, 1973, and the headlines read, "Incorporation is a Reality." It was an historic event, the birth of a governing body for an Arizona town rich in history. Gila County supervisors appointed the first interim council. They were Dr. David Gilbert, Bill Thomas, Ted Pettit, Ellie Inshow, John Fletcher, Attorney Alan Slaughter, and Fritz Taylor. The local paper, the Payson Roundup, wasted no time in printing the first political cartoon involving the first town council. Due to the amount of issues to be addressed, the council voted to conduct open meetings twice a month. Other news of the day included Payson School Board's approval to build a 10-room addition to Julia Randall Elementary School. 4 Payson gas stations remained open despite the president's request for all to shut down on Sunday due to oil embargoes, and the Chamber of Commerce building, an old A-frame house, was moved to its current site on the V-Line Highway to Main Street. On December 12, 1973, the council elected Ted Pettit as the first mayor of Payson. Only 1 week later, on December 19th, the new town council found itself short of cash. Mayor Pettit led the way by loaning the town government $5 from his pocket to establish the first petty cash fund. Council members John Fletcher, Dave Gilbert, Ellie Inshow, Alan Slaughter, and Fritz Taylor also dug into their pockets for $5, bringing the total to $30 to begin operations. In May of 1974, residents of Payson were able to cast their vote for the first elected town council. Re-elected were Ellie Inshow, Mayor Ted Pettit, Dave Gilbert, and John Fletcher. Eddie Lawler, Bill Thomas, and Richard Robertson were elected as new members. Town staff moved into the first town hall, a 12 by 52-foot trailer parked behind the Gila County Administration Building in August of 1974. Town staff included Bob Soder, planning coordinator, Mary Jones, town clerk, and Bud Williams, building inspector. It was in those first years that local businessman Barney Swartwood donated land to the town of Payson with the requirement that it build a permanent structure, and he gave him a deadline. The town responded by breaking ground in October of 1977. The town hall we know today was completed in the spring of '78. The town was only 5 years old, but growth was evident. Traffic required signals at the intersections of Highway 87 and 260. Payson's first full-time police force was also hired that year. A lot has happened in Payson since those early years, including floods, fires, droughts, and higher taxes. But through it all, the people of Payson have built a first-class community where residents enjoy a safe, peaceful, prosperous quality of life. From its humble beginnings as a ranching community to the progressive town it is today, Payson has come a long, long way. It all started in 1876 when miner and rancher William Birch built the first cabin in Payson, then called Green Valley, on what is now the number 5 hole at the Payson Golf Course. The town was renamed Payson in 1884 in honor of Senator Lewis Payson of Chicago, Illinois, after he secured the town's post office. The world's oldest continuous rodeo, also known as the August Doings, also began in 1884. The first rodeo was held in a cow pasture just south of Main Street in August of 1884. It moved on to Main Street, then out of town, and finally in 1963 to its present home in Rumsey Park. In the many years of the Payson Rodeo, well-known competitors and local favorites have competed for fans and money in the Payson Derby. Names like Lane Frost, Cody Custer, and Ty Murray have graced the homegrown arena, and local favorites like Ronnie McDaniel and Gary Hart have entertained the hometown crowd. In 1995, the old wooden rodeo bleachers, deemed a fire hazard, went up in smoke under the supervision of the Payson Fire Department. Town officials took part in lighting flares and torching the old structure. One official, rodeo boss Bill Armstrong, was caught by surprise when the powerful blaze sucked his $100 cowboy hat right off his head. new metal bleachers with no roof have not deterred the crowds from enjoying this historic pastime. Now in 1998, due to growth and progress, the rodeo grounds will move again, this time to the south. The town purchased 36 acres across Highway 87 from the Madazel Casino and has plans for a multi-event center. In 1997, volunteers organized as the Arena Relocation Team cleared 6 acres to make way for the arena, grandstands, animal pens, vendors, and parking. The event is still hosted, run, and staffed by the all-volunteer Payson Rodeo Committee. A familiar barometer of growth, support, and volunteerism in the town of Payson has been the local hospital. It was in the mid-50s when a local group known as the Payson Junior Women's Club began thinking about the need for medical care right here in town, and they decided to take action. The motivated group secured a donation of 2 acres of land, raised $11,000, borrowed $20,000, and the Payson Clinic was born. Dr. David Gilbert, who later became one of Payson's first council members, was the first full-time physician to tend patients at that early Payson Clinic. The hospital was continually added to, mostly through the fundraising efforts of the Ladies Auxiliary. In 1965, the hospital received the first of many large donations by Natalie Pyle. Her mark in Payson's history is here for all to see. When her husband passed away in 1975 at the age of 92, she gave $100,000 to start the building fund. In 1978, a $1.2 million expansion was completed, and the hospital was renamed the Lewis R. Pyle Memorial Hospital in memory of her late husband. That original building is now the B wing of Payson Regional Medical Center. In 1997, the hospital was leased to the for-profit Community Health Services Organization. The volunteer organizations that have grown around and supported the hospital during its formative years banded together, forming today's Muggione Health Alliance. They oversee the leasing of the hospital and continue to meet the medical needs of a growing community. There are many more milestones that have left their mark on Payson. In 1974, Tonto Apache Tribe gained recognition, and their 85-acre reservation on the south end of Payson became official, and Chief Melton Campbell became their first leader. That same year, a federal grant to improve Payson Airport was approved. The airport gained a paved runway, a taxiway, and an aircraft parking apron. The Beeline Highway construction was completed in July 1979, making it into a 4-lane road all the way through Payson. By the winter of 1999, Highway 87 will be 4 lanes all the way to Phoenix. The town of Payson entered the water business when voters approved a $2.25 million bond to purchase the local water system from United Utilities. Town water projects have included trading Payson's Central Arizona project allotment with the city of Scottsdale for a $4.3 million water development trust fund. The water department has developed numerous wells and spearheaded the water reclamation lakes at Green Valley Park. In 1988, the U.S. Postal Service opened its current facility at the corner of Frontier and Highway, just in time for the Hash Knife Pony Express to deliver one of the first pouches of mail. In July 1990, Mayor Craig Swartwood and Vice Mayor Elaine Drorbaugh announced that the town won $10,000 in a statewide competition to promote small-town improvements. The prize was earned with Elaine's scrapbook that documented a variety of improvement projects, from the Adopt a Highway program to the Green Valley Lake project. In 1992, after spending nearly 20 years in this A-frame, the Chamber built its new building at Main Street and the Beeline Highway. In 1993, the Tonto Apache opened its first casino. Business was so successful that in just 2 years it was replaced with an expanded casino, lounge, and restaurant. 3 years later, in 1997, Eastern Arizona College bought 64 acres of U.S. Forest Service land at the corner of Highway 260 and Mud Springs to build a permanent Payson campus. The town has examined its past and is looking toward its future. At the time of incorporation, the town's population was 2,890. In 1998, the town's population is already more than 12,000, a 300% growth in 25 years. In 1974, the town's assessed valuation was a mere $7 million. Today, it is rapidly approaching $80 million. Faced with this growth, Payson residents joined with town officials to map out the Payson of tomorrow. This land use will guide town development into the year 2020. The Kaibat Mill property at the corner of Main Street and the B-Line is one example of growth and change. The historic sawmill, which shut down in 1993, will now become the Sawmill Crossing Complex. It will house the first 6-screen theater in Payson and will anchor a large shopping complex. Perhaps the best way to view Payson, past, present, and future, is through the eyes of the people. At the town's centennial celebration in 1981, Mayor Willard Taylor wrote, "No doubt the Payson of the future at its bicentennial celebration would astound us all, if it could be clearly foreseen." Today we, however, have the privilege and responsibility of having as our goal the creation of an outstandingly beautiful, healthful, and vital community. As we close, we leave you with this poem by 25th anniversary poetry contest winner Joe Gelling of Payson. Why I chose to live in Payson, Arizona.
You ask why in Arizona I chose to live in Payson? The people are friendly. Now that's one good reason. Another is that I'm just a country boy at heart. I love the small town atmosphere. Big cities tear me apart. Now in the middle of Arizona, the town of Payson sits. 5,000 feet in altitude is about as good as it gets. It's also one of 3 places where the ozone air is pure, and never too much traffic, and no smog, that's for sure. I also love the seasons, Fiddler's Contest and Rodeo, Roosevelt Lake and trout streams, the swap meet and auto show. As far as snow, one day it will, the next day or two it's gone. And the pines, they look so beautiful, just where could you go wrong? And the mountains and the scenery are as pretty as can be. Now you ask why I chose Payson? Well, now it's plain to see.